Welcome to Tech Savvy 101, AI and Automation Made Simple. Hi, I'm Sarah Baker, your new Tech Savvy bestie. I'm a technology and automation coach, an online business owner, and a crazy busy mom of 3 kids under 10. Whether you're just starting to explore AI or you're ready to level up your tech game, I'm here to help make it all feel absolutely doable. No complicated jargon, no endless tutorials, just shortcuts and simple solutions that you can start using in your business right away. So, if you're ready to start saving hours every day with smart systems and AI tools, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hey there, welcome back to Tech Savvy 101, AI and Automation Made Simple. I'm your host, Sarah Baker, your tech savvy bestie who's here to help you simplify your business, embrace automation, and save hours every week. Today, I am beyond excited to bring you the final episode in our Automated Systems That Scale mini-series. If you've been following along, we've taken quite a journey together. In episode 1, we talked about why automation matters and how you can reclaim up to 24 hours per week using a project management system like Asana. In episode 2, we rolled up our sleeves and actually set up your Asana workspace with all of those time-saving rules and recurring tasks. Then in episode 3, we went on a full-on automation ninja path with advanced workflows and cross-project integration. And now, in our final episode in this mini-series, we're taking everything to the next level by adding artificial intelligence into the mix. I'm talking about integrating powerful AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude with all those beautiful Asana workflows that we've already built together. Here's the thing. I had one of those holy cow moments a few months ago when I realized how much of my work week I was spending doing what I call business housekeeping. I'm sure you know what I mean. I'm talking about checking project statuses, updating clients, and reviewing what needed to happen next week. It was taking me about half a day each week just planning what I needed to do. And honestly, I was getting a little bit burnt out by it. Then I figured out how to combine AI with my Asana system, and now my business is literally working for me even when I'm out of office. I wake up every morning to find that what used to be chaos, requiring me to spend the first hour or 2 each day sorting through emails and notifications, checking on the status of projects, and figuring out what needed my attention most urgently, is already just handled. It's like having the world's most efficient business manager or VA who never sleeps. So by the end of today's episode, you are also going to have a roadmap for creating your own AI-enhanced business ecosystem. And don't worry, I'm going to keep this super practical and simple, just like we've done throughout this entire series. So let's dive in. Okay, let's talk about combining the project management power of Asana with the intelligence of AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude. And before you start thinking this sounds way too technical for me, stick with me. I promise this is going to be way more approachable and easy to set up than you think. I actually discovered this integration by accident. Picture this. I was sitting at my desk on a Thursday night. I had just spent 3 hours creating a detailed launch plan for a new course in Asana. I love setting up a new project. It's the total nerd in me. I was using all of the techniques that we had talked about in episode 2 of this mini-series, breaking everything down into tasks, setting up dependencies, the whole 9 yards. I was pretty proud of myself, honestly. I was very excited. Then the next week, one of my business besties texted me and said, "Girl, I just used ChatGPT to create my entire launch plan in like 10 minutes. And here I am, the AI coach, and I'm like, wait, what?" And that's when it hit me. What if I could use AI to generate these comprehensive project plans and then automatically get them into my beautifully organized Asana workspaces? Game changer. Mic drop. So The bridge between using AI tools and Asana comes through integration platforms like Zapier or Make. With these tools, you can create workflows where you send a specific prompt to ChatGPT and the output gets converted into tasks or even entire projects in Asana automatically. This goes beyond simple recurring tasks and dependencies that we set up in episode 134. Now we're talking about generating intelligent, context-aware project structures. So, for example, let's say you're launching a new coaching program. Instead of manually creating all the tasks, you could prompt ChatGPT with, create a comprehensive 90-day launch plan for a new coaching program that's targeting busy entrepreneurs, including pre-launch content creation, marketing campaigns, sales funnel setup, client onboarding systems, and post-launch optimization phases. ChatGPT would then generate a detailed multi-phase plan giving you specific tasks, suggested timelines, and even marketing strategies. Through your integration with Zapier or Make, this comprehensive plan would flow directly into Asana as a complete project structure, giving you the proper sections, task dependencies, and even due dates. So what used to take me half a day of strategic planning, thinking through every step, organizing tasks by priority, estimating timelines, now takes like 10 minutes. And AI generates that initial structure, and then I spend my time, my human brain, refining and customizing rather than starting from scratch. Did your brain just explode like mine did? Like I said, this is where tools like Zapier and Make come in. Think of them like friendly translator tools. Zapier or Make are like the friend that speaks both languages, and they are the translator that helps everyone communicate. So here's how this works in real life. If you're launching that new coaching program, instead of sitting there trying to remember every single task you need to do and probably forgetting half of them or writing them on a piece of paper and then losing the piece of paper, you can prompt chat with something like, create the 90-day launch program. And then Zapier or Make is the connector that gets that list from chat into Asana without you having to manually be the connector. So it removes you as the middleman. Another great way to use AI is for the heavy thinking. So my favorite AI tool right now is Claude. Claude is really great at analyzing complex documents and extracting actionable information. I also think Claude is a better writer. So let me tell you about a situation that happened just last month. A potential client had sent me what could only be described as a novel. It was like a 15-page document with their project requirements kind of all over the place throughout the document. Some, on page 2, some on page 4, some on, way in the back on page 12. In between those sections, there was a lot of background information about their company, some different deliverables, kind of all throughout the document. Previously, old me would have spent, an hour reading through this document with a highlighter, printing it out, trying to extract all the important information, hoping I didn't miss any, juicy nuggets of information that I really needed to know. New me uploaded it into Claude and said, please extract all the deliverables, the deadlines, and the requirements from this document, organize it into a structured project plan with tasks, subtasks, and timeline recommendations. Within, under a minute, Claude had organized it into a structured breakdown that included not just like the obvious stuff that anyone could extract just from skimming this document, but it also caught additional, more nuanced or subtle things like implied dependencies. These are things we talked about in previous episodes, like tasks that were dependent on other tasks being completed, and suggested a realistic timeline based on kind of the scope of this project. So this organized breakdown then flowed right into Asana, and I was able to show up to the kickoff meeting with this client looking like I had already invested hours in understanding their really nuanced and specific needs, because technically I have. It's just that Claude helped me do the heavy lifting, which allowed me to use, again, my human brain really deciding and thinking through how I could specifically help this client. I'm going to share another little secret now that's going to save you a ton of time. So inside of my Asana, I have what I call my prompt library, where I have all of the information that I use on almost a daily basis so that I have it available at my fingertips for easy access. These are the prompts I use most often, information about my brand, like my brand voice. So if for some reason my AI starts not generating content in my brand voice, I can quickly re-prompt it with my brand voice prompt and say, hey, this doesn't sound like me. Can you make sure that this is written in my brand voice? And I'll just remind it gently of what my brand voice prompt is. And if you have not set up your brand voice, check the show notes and I will link the episode where I talked about how to create your brand voice. But if you have other prompts that you find are working really well, keep them all in one place. And using your Asana as a little vault or a library to keep them all in one place works incredibly well. The key is testing and tweaking those prompts until they give you consistently good results. And then, because they're all in one central place, anyone on your team can access them and you can all be consistently using the same prompts. Okay, so now can we talk about one of my least favorite business tasks? Documentation. Now, I've covered this in a previous episode. I will link it down below, but SOPs. Look, I know it's important. I know I've talked about it before. I need it. You need it. But creating SOPs and project briefs and all of that stuff is about exciting as watching paint dry. But here's where AI has completely changed the game for me and for you. And I think it's going to blow your mind too. You know those standard operating procedures that you know you should have, but you never seem to find the time to create, even though I've told you that it doesn't have to be hard. Well, what if I told you that you could generate them automatically just by doing your work? And here's how this magic happens. So when you create a process in Asana, let's just say you finished onboarding a new client. You tag that main task with process documentation. Then your automation is going to kick in and send all of the task details, the subtasks, and any comments or notes to ChatGPT with a prompt like, turn this completed process into a detailed SOP that includes the purpose, the step-by-step instructions, and common issues to watch out for, and success metrics. You could very easily set this up. I tried this out with a simple process that I have about 6 months ago, and honestly, it changed everything. So instead of having a growing list of, I should really document this, hanging over your head, you just do your work normally, and the documentation creates itself. So even if you are a team of one, if at any point in the future you think you might bring on a team member, hire a VA, any of that, you need to be documenting your processes. Even if it's something as simple as how you create social media posts, how you post to social media, how you onboard your clients, all of these things, you should have processes. And it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be super complicated. I highly recommend that you listen to the episode where I outlined what an SOP is and how to create them, because it will make it seem so much less daunting. And you do not need to stop everything in your business and be like, this week I am creating SOPs for everything that I'm doing, because you can just create them as you go. And by using this cool trick of having Asana and AI make them for you, it makes it even less intimidating. So you are out of excuses. Officially, I'm putting you on notice that you are out of excuses as to why you don't have SOPs in your business. You have been warned. Here is another game changer. You know how when a new client fills out an intake form for your business, you usually have all of that information and you turn it into some kind of organized project brief. It takes forever, and you're never sure if you're asking maybe the right questions or possibly missing something important. until you need that information and you realize you don't have it. Well, now when someone submits your client intake form, all of that information can get sent directly to Claude or Chat with a sophisticated prompt like create a comprehensive project brief based on these client requirements. Include the project scope, the deliverables, the timeline recommendations, potential challenges that we should prepare for, success metrics, and a communication plan. So the result of having that information about that client sent immediately to AI with a prompt like that is that you're going to get a professional, thorough project brief that covers angles that you might not have even thought of, and it's automatically added to your Asana project before you even have that first client call, which makes you look like a freaking rock star when you show up to that first call. That client is going to come to that call, hear the things you have to say, and immediately know that they made the right decision to work with you. I cannot tell you how many clients have said things like, wow, you really understand our needs, or I can tell you've put a lot of thought into this. And little did they know, Claude or Chat did the initial thinking, but I got to focus on the relationship and the strategy parts, AKA the human parts that really matter. Here's something else that used to drive me crazy. If someone on my team, or like, let's be honest, me, would have a brilliant idea for improving a process, I'd get all excited about it and maybe mention it in a meeting, and then nada. Because the idea would just poof, disappear into the ether. Because documenting process improvements just felt like an extra task that nobody had time for. Being an entrepreneur or a business owner, you never have enough hours in the day, right? But now, when anyone has an improvement idea, you can just create a task in Asana and tag it with improvement idea. It's like a digital suggestion box. The automation will grab the suggestion and look at your current process documentation and generate an updated procedure that actually incorporates that improvement. It is literally like having a business improvement fairy that actually follows through on all those great ideas instead of letting them get lost in the chaos of running a business. No more like jotting down ideas in the Notes app on your phone or putting it on a Post-it note or note to self or do this in 2 years' time. Like, this is how your business will improve by actually leaning in to all of these great ideas. All right. And here's where things really get exciting. If you can't tell, I love all of these, but this is a really, really juicy one. I want you to imagine having a super efficient operations manager who never takes vacation, never gets sick, and is available 24/7 to keep your business running so smoothly. I know it sounds too good to be true, but that is essentially what we're building when we combine all of these AI tools with your Asana system. I call it my digital operations manager, and honestly, it has been life-changing. Remember how I used to spend half a day or more each week doing business housekeeping? Well, now I wake up every Monday morning to what I call my executive briefing. And it's not just a boring list of tasks. It's like having a really smart business consultant who's been analyzing everything in my business overnight. My Monday morning briefing includes things like the most important tasks for the day with context about why they're critical. Upcoming deadlines with a risk assessment, like this project historically takes 15% longer when it involves external business partners. Any bottlenecks that need my attention along with suggested solutions. Client updates that need responses prioritized by urgency, and performance insights like your team completed content tasks 20% faster this week. It arrives in my inbox at 7 a.m. every Monday morning, and it's like having a chief of staff who's reviewed everything and is giving me my executive summary. I spend about 5 minutes reading it, and I know exactly how to prioritize my entire day. I could set this up to arrive in my inbox daily if I wanted. It's completely customizable to my business, and I have it set up exactly the way I like it. Here's something else that used to keep me up at night was making big business decisions. Should I launch this new program? Should I hire someone new? Should I change my pricing? I would go around in circles, making pro and con lists that never seemed to help. But now I have a structured system for this. So when I'm facing a significant business decision, I create a task in my business decisions project with the question and all the relevant context I can think of. Then I have AI analyze this information for me, along with historical data from my other Asana projects to give me pros and cons based on similar decisions I've made before, potential outcomes with realistic probability assessments, resource requirements and timeline implications, and specific recommendations with clear reasoning. Because there's so much data in my Asana about my business, the AI is able to give me the big picture about how I should move forward. Instead of making an emotional decision, I'm able to make a data-backed decision. And here's the best part. Once I do make that decision, the system automatically creates all the implementation tasks and assigns them to the right people. So decisions actually turn into action instead of just sitting in my head. Let's talk about the Asana dashboard. It's a pretty great place with all the project views and custom fields that we set up in earlier episodes. But when you add the AI analysis on top of it, it becomes this incredible business intelligence tool. Instead of just showing me that 3 projects are due next week, it might flag that historically projects of this type require 15% more time when they involve external business partners and suggest that timelines should be adjusted before problems occur. It's like having someone constantly monitoring your business and tapping you on the shoulder to say, hey, you might want to pay attention to this before it becomes a problem. All right, now let's connect everything together in an easy way that doesn't make you lose your mind. Doesn't that sound refreshing? I feel like this is the part of running a business where most people start to get overwhelmed because you've got your email, your CRM, your accounting software, your website, maybe some social media scheduling tools. And the thought of making them all work together sounds like a technical nightmare, right? But here's the thing. When you do this thoughtfully, it actually is incredibly freeing. Instead of having to remember to do 17 different things every time something happens in your business, everything just flows together automatically. Let me tell you about one of my favorite integrations. When someone moves to the contract signed stage in my CRM, it doesn't just sit there waiting for me to remember to do something about it. Instead, it triggers a beautiful cascade of actions. And I get that that makes me sound really nerdy to describe it that way, but it is. Stick with me. First, it analyzes the new client's information, their industry, their project type, their team size, all the juicy details. Then it creates a customized onboarding sequence in Asana with tasks that are specifically relevant to their situation, because there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all client, right? A tech startup gets different onboarding tasks than a wellness coach, right? But it goes even deeper than that, because the system is then going to look at my current workload and my capacity. It's going to consider the client's preferred communication style, which it's going to pull from their initial intake form. And it's even going to look at factors in things like upcoming holidays, team vacation time, and it's going to create a realistic project timeline. I know for me, I scale back on my schedule when we come up on summer. I have 3 kids under 10, and we spend approximately 30 hours a week at the pool because we're a swim team family. So I adjust my workload in the summer, and Asana takes that into consideration. I work a couple hours in the morning, first thing in the morning. I know I'm one of those obnoxious morning people. I'm just naturally able to wake up early. Don't hold it against me. And then I work some in the afternoon when it's ridiculously hot and we're home after the pool. So I love that Asana automatically knows that my workload and my capacity is different in the summer when my kids are home. So what used to be this overwhelming, okay, new client, now I need to do all of these things, moment is just handled. The client gets an amazing personalized experience, and I get to focus on the actual work that requires my human brain and my personal touch points instead of the administrative juggling. Here is something else I want to address. Asana is amazing, and AI makes it even more powerful. But it's not going to be the perfect tool for every single thing in your business. And that's completely fine. The goal here isn't to force everything into one platform. The goal is to make all your tools work together intelligently while each one does what it's best at. So if you're creating graphics or websites or any kind of visual content, you're probably going to still want to use tools like Canva or Figma or Adobe Creative Suite, because these tools are built specifically for design work, and they're going to be way better at that than trying to manage everything in Asana. But here's how you can make them work beautifully together by keeping your design briefs and feedback in Asana for the project management and creating the actual designs in that specialized tool, and then using automation to update Asana when the design status changes. So when the design graphics are complete, then you want to update that in Asana and say graphics completed so that everyone on your team is aware that the graphic is done. So if your designer can work in their preferred environment, but everyone who's involved in the project stays informed through Asana. Plus, AI can help to generate those design briefs based off of the client's requirements and analyze feedback patterns to suggest improvements. Additionally, one of the things I do is I always make sure to link the completed files into the project for easy access. So I'm not spending and wasting time searching through Canva or Figma, trying to find, version, final, version 5. When you've got multiple files and you've gone through multiple revisions, nothing is more frustrating than being unable to find the correct file. So I make sure that completed final versions are always attached to the project for easy access. And also because I love using the Asana mobile app, which makes it even easier to access those files while I'm on the go. Similarly, with financial tools, if you're using QuickBooks or other accounting systems, keep using those. Those tools are specifically built for financial management, and they're going to handle invoicing and expense tracking and financial reporting way better than a project management tool. But the magic happens when you connect them intelligently. So your accounting system could trigger project updates in Asana when payments are received, or Asana could automatically generate invoices when a project milestone is completed, and then AI can analyze the data from both systems to help you make better business decisions. And if you're creating content, you might use tools like Canva for graphics or Loom for videos, or your email marketing platform, wherever you send emails from, or Buffer for social media scheduling. Each of these tools is really, really good at its specific job. So don't try to reinvent the wheel here. The key is orchestrating them through your Asana system. Content briefs get managed in Asana. Assets get created in their specialized tool. And AI helps you to optimize the workflow and think of yourself as the conductor of the system. Your job is to connect all of the tools you are using in your Asana platform and then use AI to help you find where the wheel needs to be greased, so to speak, to make sure that your entire business is running smoothly, and help you suggest where it could be even further improved. Let's talk about some real numbers. What is this actually going to save you? Because I know I've been throwing a lot of exciting ideas at you, but let's get down to the basics. What does this AI-enhanced system actually save you in terms of time and money? Because that's what really matters, right? I'm going to share some of my real numbers from my own business transformation because I think it'll help you to see what's possible. Before I added AI to my own Asana system, I was spending approximately 8 hours every week on project planning and creating briefs for clients, another 6 hours weekly on status updates and client communication, about 4 hours on documentation and process improvement. And I gave the example of setting up my new project that took me 3 hours from start to finish. And honestly, I had happy clients, but I wasn't getting that holy cow, blown away feedback. After implementing this AI enhanced ecosystem, my project planning is now taking me about 2 hours a week, down from 8. Status updates and client communication is down to about an hour weekly from 6. Documentation is happening automatically as I work. So I would say maybe 30 minutes weekly to refine and review, down from 4. And new project setup, I would say 45 minutes max, down from 3 hours. My client satisfaction has also noticeably improved because everything feels more professional and more thorough and more customized. So we're talking about going from about 18 hours of administrative work per week down to about 3.5 hours. So that is 14.5 hours that I got back every single week. That's almost 2 work days. And those are hours that I can now spend on the tasks that only humans can do. And I've mentioned that multiple times throughout this episode. There are tasks that can be done by AI and that can be automated, and there are tasks that require your human brain. So that's 2 days a week that I can be spending on the human brain activities. And those are activities that are directly income generating. Let's also talk about the financial impact. So if you value your time at about $150 an hour, which is honestly a conservative rate for most successful entrepreneurs, that is $2,175 per week in reclaimed value. That's huge. I'm able to now spend those almost 2 days a week on high value activities like business development and actually working with clients. So here's what the numbers don't capture: the mental relief. It's huge. I used to have this constant background anxiety about whether I was forgetting something important, whether I had followed up with everyone, whether I had stayed on top of all my projects. And now I have this sense of peace and quiet confidence that everything is being handled. I can actually be present in meetings instead of constantly multitasking and having half my brain thinking about what tasks I need to be working on as soon as the meeting is over. I can take weekends off without worrying that I'm missing something important. I'm a more present mother and partner and friend. And it is so reassuring to know that I can truly be off the clock. We recently went on a 9-day vacation to Disney World, and I did not check my email once. And that to me was a massive victory and win that I was able to be fully present with my family and not stressed about what my inbox was going to look like or what was the state of my business when I got home, because I knew it was handled and that everything was going to be okay when I got back. And it was. And that was huge. So here's how you can calculate the potential return for your own business. Step 1, track how much time you currently spend on administrative tasks for 1 week. I'm talking about things like project planning, status updates, client communication, documentation, all the things that need to happen, but don't directly generate revenue. Step 2, estimate what percentage of that time could be automated or AI enhanced. And be conservative. Maybe start with 50%. Step 3, multiply that time savings by your effective hourly rate. And step 4, consider the implementation costs. Most of the AI tools we've talked about cost around $20 a month. And integration tools like Zapier start around $20 a month as well. Now, for most entrepreneurs I work with, even saving just 5 hours per week pays for the entire system many times over. And that's before we factor in the improved client satisfaction, better project outcomes, and your increased capacity to take on more work or higher value clients. But here's the thing that really gets me excited. This system doesn't just save you time today, it compounds over time. So better systems allow you to take on more clients without proportionally increasing your workload. Higher quality project briefs and communication lead to better client relationships and therefore more referrals. Consistent documentation means you can delegate more effectively as you grow. And in my case, the time savings allowed me to increase my client capacity by about 25%, which actually improved the quality of service. So even just 2 additional clients per year at $5,000 each adds $10,000 to my revenue. And that's on top of all the other time I've reclaimed for other priorities. And really, you can't even put a monetary value on the feeling of calm and peace and the mental load being lifted off of you. All right, we've covered a lot of ground in this 4-part series, and I can practically feel your excitement. I know I'm super jazzed about this. I also know that feeling when you're inspired and overwhelmed at the same time, thinking, this all sounds amazing, but where the heck do I actually start? So let me break this down into bite-sized, non-overwhelming steps, because that's how we actually make progress, right? So first things first, you do not need to implement everything we've talked about in these 4 episodes all at once. In fact, please don't. Because it'll all stress you out, and you'll probably give up halfway through. Instead, think about what's causing you the most pain in your business right now. Are you spending half your weekend doing project planning? Then start with AI-generated project briefs. Are you constantly forgetting to follow up with clients? Then focus on automated status updates. If you're drowning in repetitive tasks, then begin with the basic Asana rules that we covered in the 2nd episode. Pick one workflow, just one, and get that one working beautifully before you move on to the next thing. Here's what I recommend that you do for the first 30 days of setting up your project management system. In week 1, if you haven't already, set up your Asana workspace using the foundation principles from the 2nd episode. Don't worry about using AI yet. Just get your projects organized and create a few basic automation rules. In the 2nd week, pick one repetitive task that drives you freaking crazy and set up your first AI integration. Maybe it's generating content calendars or creating project briefs. Whatever it is, start simple and get comfortable with the process. It'll give you that quick win that'll motivate you to keep going. In week 3, I want you to add on one cross-system integration. Maybe it's connecting your email to Asana or setting up those automatic client notifications. And in week 4, I want you to take a step back and measure what you've accomplished. How much time have you saved? What's working well and what needs tweaking? Remember, this is like a living, breathing thing. You're always making adjustments and trying to improve it. And I want to give you a little reality check here. Here's something that nobody talks about. The first few weeks of implementing these systems can actually feel like more work, not less. You're learning a new tool, you're setting up workflows, and your brain is having to think about things differently. This is normal. I remember when I first started around week 2 of my AI integration journey, I was sitting at my computer. It was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I was thinking, this is supposed to make my life easier. Why does this feel so hard? But I stuck with it. You're setting up a new routine. You're learning a new skill. By about the end of week 4, everything started clicking for me. So give yourself permission to have a learning curve. This is an investment in your future self. It is not an instant fix, but stick with it. And your future self will be so grateful that you did, because it is going to make your life and running your business so much easier. So as we close out this 4-part mini-series, I want to take a moment to recap what we talked about in each of the episodes. In the first episode, episode 133, we opened your eyes to just how much time automation could save you, up to 24 hours each week. We talked about why this matters so much for busy entrepreneurs and got you excited about the possibilities. In the second episode, episode 134, we rolled up our sleeves and built your foundation. We set up your Asana workspace strategically creating those time-saving automation rules, and established the recurring tasks and dependencies that eliminate repetitive work. In the third episode, episode 135, we went full automation ninja mode with advanced strategies, cross-project workflows, and sophisticated integrations that can truly run your business on autopilot. And today, we added the intelligence layer that takes everything to the next level. We've talked about integrating AI tools that don't just follow rules, but actually think, analyze, and make smart decisions about your business operations. The complete roadmap. Thank you so much for joining me on this comprehensive journey through automated systems that scale. If these episodes have provided value for you, I'd be so grateful if you could subscribe and leave a review. And if you're ready to implement these strategies but want some hands-on guidance, I'd love to help you. Check out my Tame Your Business Chaos Toolkit at the link in the show notes. It's available for only $27 if you want a little bit of a boost to help you get started with Asana. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tech Savvy 101. I'll see you really soon. Thanks for tuning in to Tech Savvy 101, AI and Automation Made Easy. If today's episode made tech a little less intimidating for you, I would be so grateful if you'd leave a review and let me know what you loved. Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to any resources I mentioned today. Be sure to follow Tech Savvy 101 wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Tune in for AI in Action on Tuesdays for quick, practical AI tips, and join me on Thursdays for full-length episodes. Until next time, keep shattering that tech ceiling.